The Visa Bulletin for March 2026 is finally here, and this one is not just another routine update. This is the kind of announcement that can change timelines, reopen hope, and move dreams closer to reality. For so many people, a green card is not just a document. It represents security. It represents stability. It represents a future built with freedom and opportunity. And when priority dates move, lives move with them. This month brings significant changes. Some categories are advancing faster than expected. Others are shifting in ways that no one predicted. Families who have been waiting for years may suddenly find themselves one step closer to approval. And for many, this moment brings renewed energy, renewed belief, and renewed determination. But here's the truth. Understanding these changes is just as important as celebrating them. Knowing what your priority date means, knowing where you stand, and knowing what to prepare next can make all the difference. March 2026 could be a turning point. It could be the month that moves your case forward. It could be the update that changes your timeline. So let's break it down clearly, simply, and honestly. Because when it comes to your future, every date matters, every update matters, and every step forward matters. This is not just a policy update. This is not just a government chart with numbers and dates. This is something that touches real people, real families, real futures. When the Visa Bulletin changes, it does not move paper. It moves hope. It moves plans. It moves years of waiting, praying, and believing. Thousands of people wake up and check those dates with a racing heart. They refresh the page again and again. They compare numbers. They calculate months. They imagine what life could look like if their priority date finally becomes current. For many, immigration is not just a choice. It is a sacrifice. It is leaving behind comfort, culture, and sometimes even family just to build something better. People wait patiently while working hard, studying hard, and staying strong through uncertainty. They build their lives around a single date. They mark calendars. They count months. They tell their children, soon. They tell their parents, just a little more time. And when a big update comes, it feels like the ground shifts under their feet. This kind of update affects workers who have given their best years to their careers. It affects spouses who have lived apart from their loved ones for too long. It affects children who are growing up while their families wait for approval. Every movement in the Visa Bulletin carries emotion. Every change carries weight. A few months forward can mean everything. It can mean the difference between staying separated or finally being together. It can mean the difference between uncertainty and stability. The March 2026 release is one of those moments that makes people stop and pay attention. It creates conversations in homes across the world. It fills immigration forums with excitement. It brings both relief and anxiety. But above all, it reminds everyone that the system is still moving. The line is still moving. The dream is still alive. When thousands of dreams are connected to a single announcement, that announcement becomes powerful. It becomes personal. It becomes emotional. It becomes more than numbers on a screen. It becomes a sign that patience can lead to progress. It becomes proof that time, even when slow, is still moving forward. People who once felt stuck may suddenly feel hope again. People who felt forgotten may feel seen again. And even those who are still waiting can feel a spark of motivation. Because if change is happening, it means possibility is real. And when possibility is real, dreams feel closer than ever before. This month's Visa Bulletin is not quiet. It is not small. It brings real movement, and that movement carries emotion. Priority dates are finally shifting in ways that many did not expect. For people who have been watching the same numbers for months or even years, seeing those dates move forward feels like seeing a locked door slowly open. A priority date is not just a technical term. It is the day your journey officially began. It is the day you entered the system. It is the day you started waiting. And when that date moves closer to becoming current, it feels like the universe is finally saying, your turn is coming. That feeling is powerful. It gives strength. It gives courage. It gives energy to keep going. For many categories, March 2026 shows significant progress. Months have advanced, in some cases even more than expected. People who once thought they had years left may now see their timeline shrinking. That kind of movement changes how families plan. It changes how professionals think about their careers. It changes how students think about their future. Suddenly, things that felt far away start to feel possible. But priority date movement also brings emotion, because it reminds everyone how long the journey has been. Some people have waited 5 years, some 10, some even longer. They have worked, studied, paid taxes, and followed every rule. They have stayed patient even when the system felt slow. Seeing the dates move forward feels like recognition. It feels like acknowledgement of their perseverance. This movement also creates urgency. When dates advance quickly, people must prepare. Documents must be ready. Medical exams must be scheduled. Financial plans must be organized. It becomes a moment of action. Hope is no longer just a feeling. It becomes something practical and real. It becomes something that requires readiness. For families separated by borders, priority date movement feels like a countdown to reunion. For skilled workers, it feels like stability is closer. For children aging out of dependent status, it feels like relief. Every month that moves forward carries a wave of emotion across thousands of households. And even for those whose categories did not move as much, seeing overall progress is a sign that the system is active. It means things are not frozen. It means change is possible. It means the future is not standing still. When priority dates move, they do more than update a chart. They move hearts. They move expectations. They move energy. And this March, that movement feels stronger, faster, and more meaningful than it has in a long time. For families waiting in different countries, every update feels personal. A green card is not just immigration status. It is reunion. It is safety. It is the chance to finally live under one roof without fear of separation. When priority dates move forward, families who have been apart for years may suddenly see hope shining brighter than before. Imagine parents who have not hugged their adult children in years. Imagine spouses who have built a marriage through video calls and long-distance sacrifices. Imagine children who only know one parent through a screen. When movement happens in the Visa Bulletin, it brings a wave of possibility to these families. It makes them imagine airport reunions. It makes them imagine shared dinners. It makes them imagine ordinary days together, which suddenly feel extraordinary. Many families plan their entire lives around immigration timelines. They delay buying homes. They delay changing jobs. They delay major decisions. Everything is tied to that green card approval. When the timeline moves forward, even by a few months, it feels like the future is becoming clear. It feels like uncertainty is slowly fading. For parents, it means security for their children. It means better education, better health care, better opportunities. For couples, it means stability. It means building a life together without visa stress. It means freedom to plan 5 years ahead instead of 5 months ahead. That kind of stability changes how people live. It changes how they think. It changes how they dream. Some families have faced heartbreaking delays. They have experienced retrogression. They have watched dates move backward before. So when they see forward movement, it feels emotional. It feels fragile but hopeful. It reminds them that patience, even when painful, can still lead somewhere meaningful. Even families who are not current yet can feel encouraged when they see progress. It means the line is moving. It means their turn will come. It means they are not forgotten. Every forward step for one family creates hope for another. Green card approval represents belonging. It represents being able to say, "This is home." And when families move closer to that moment, it is not just paperwork. It is healing. It is restoration. It is the closing of a long chapter of waiting. March 2026 may be the month that shifts timelines for many families. It may be the month that turns waiting into preparation. It may be the month that turns distance into anticipation. And for families who have carried the weight of separation for too long, even one step forward feels like a miracle in motion. When waiting times change, emotions rise instantly. For so many people, the Visa Bulletin is not just information, it is a heartbeat check on their future. And when the numbers shift, whether forward or backward, it sends a wave of energy through thousands of lives at the same time. This month, the changes in waiting times bring something powerful: hope mixed with caution. When dates move forward, even by a few months, it feels like progress finally breaking through silence. It feels like the long line is moving again. For people who have been stuck watching the same numbers for what feels like forever, seeing movement brings excitement. It brings relief. It brings the feeling that patience has not been wasted. That feeling is real. It is strong. It is emotional. But immigration waiting times are never simple. They are influenced by demand, visa limits, and country caps. When movement happens quickly, it can also mean that the system may slow down later. That is why caution is important. Not fear, not panic, but awareness. Hope should inspire action, not assumptions. Some categories may move ahead faster than expected. Others may stay still. A few might even move backward in future months if demand rises too high. This is the reality of how the system works. And understanding this reality gives people power. It helps them stay prepared. It helps them avoid disappointment. The shifting waiting times remind everyone that immigration is dynamic. It is not fixed. It is not predictable every month. One bulletin can bring excitement. Another can bring patience again. That is why emotional balance matters. Celebrate progress, but stay ready for adjustments. Be happy, but stay organized. For many applicants, shifting timelines change life plans. Someone who thought they had 3 more years might now see 1 year left. That changes how they save money. It changes how they plan careers. It changes how they prepare documents. It creates urgency. It creates motivation. It creates focus. At the same time, those whose categories did not move much may feel frustration. That feeling is normal. Waiting is hard. Watching others move ahead while you stay in place can feel unfair. But movement in any category shows that the system is active. It shows that the line is not frozen. It shows that change is possible. The key during shifting waiting times is readiness. Keep documents updated. Stay informed. Watch each monthly release carefully. Do not ignore small changes. Small changes can become big changes over time. Immigration rewards those who stay prepared. Hope without preparation can lead to missed opportunities. But hope combined with action creates strength. It creates confidence. It creates control in a process that often feels uncontrollable. This moment of shifting waiting times is not just about numbers moving. It is about mindset. It is about staying steady while things change. It is about understanding that progress is rarely straight. Sometimes it moves fast. Sometimes it pauses. But when you stay patient and prepared, you are always ready when your moment finally arrives. A priority date may look like just a simple date printed on a document, but in reality, it carries so much power. It represents the day your immigration journey officially began. It marks the moment you stepped into the process with hope in your heart and belief in your future. That single date becomes your place in line. It becomes your position in a system that moves slowly but steadily. And understanding what that date truly means can completely change how you feel about your journey. When you understand your priority date, you stop feeling lost. You stop guessing. You stop depending only on rumors or social media comments. You begin to see clearly where you stand. You can track progress. You can measure movement. You can prepare wisely. Knowledge removes confusion, and confusion is one of the biggest causes of stress during immigration. Many people wait without fully understanding how priority dates work. They check updates but do not know the difference between final action date and date for filing. They hear words like retrogression and advancement but feel unsure about what they really mean. That uncertainty creates fear. But when you take time to truly understand your category, your country cap, and your Visa Bulletin chart, something powerful happens. You gain control. Understanding priority dates allows you to plan your life better. If your date is getting closer, you can start gathering documents early. You can prepare financially. You can think about job changes carefully. You can make smart decisions instead of emotional ones. Preparation reduces anxiety. Preparation builds confidence. There is something deeply empowering about knowing exactly how the system works. Instead of waiting blindly, you wait strategically. Instead of feeling helpless, you feel informed. That shift in mindset is powerful. It turns waiting into action. It turns uncertainty into focus. Priority dates also remind you of your journey. They remind you how far you have already come. Even if your date is not current yet, time has passed. Progress has happened. The line has moved. You are closer today than you were last year. That realization builds strength. It reminds you that waiting is not standing still. Understanding your priority date also protects you from false expectations. Immigration timelines can move forward and backward. If you know how the system works, you are less likely to panic during retrogression. You are less likely to get overly excited without preparation. You stay balanced. You stay steady. Information is power. In a long immigration process, power does not always come from speed. It comes from awareness. It comes from clarity. It comes from knowing exactly where you stand and what steps come next. When you truly understand your priority date, you stop seeing it as just a number. You start seeing it as your journey marker. You start seeing it as proof that you are in the system, that your case exists, that your turn will come, and that understanding alone can change how you carry yourself through every single month of waiting. When the Visa Bulletin is released, it may look like a simple government update, but behind every number, behind every priority date, there are real human stories. There are parents waiting to reunite with their children. There are skilled workers building careers while hoping for stability. There are students dreaming of permanent security. This update does not just change timelines. It changes lives in ways that are deeply personal and emotional. For someone who has been waiting for years, seeing their priority date become current can feel overwhelming. It can feel like a heavy weight lifting off their shoulders. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your long wait is finally turning into action, that your paperwork can move forward, that your interview may be scheduled, that your future is no longer just a hope, but something real and close. This update can mean a family finally preparing to live together. It can mean a spouse no longer worrying about visa renewals every year. It can mean children growing up with security instead of uncertainty. That kind of change is not small. It affects daily life. It affects mental health. It affects how people sleep at night. For professionals, this update can bring career freedom. Many people hold back from changing jobs because of immigration status. They delay promotions. They avoid risks. They stay in safe positions because they fear losing their place in line. When progress happens, it opens doors. It gives confidence. It allows people to plan long-term instead of just surviving year by year. For international students and young professionals, this update can feel like validation. It can feel like proof that their effort, education, and patience are leading somewhere meaningful. It gives them the courage to keep working hard. It reminds them that their sacrifices are not invisible. Even for those who are not current yet, change in the bulletin brings hope. It shows movement. It shows that the system is active. It shows that progress is possible. That belief alone can change someone's mindset. It can shift them from feeling stuck to feeling motivated. Immigration is not only about documents. It is about identity. It is about belonging. It is about building a future in a place where you feel secure. When an update brings someone closer to permanent residency, it brings them closer to stability, opportunity, and peace of mind. This month's update may quietly transform thousands of futures. It may turn long-distance relationships into daily life together. It may turn temporary status into permanent security. It may turn waiting into preparation. And for many people, it may mark the beginning of a completely new chapter filled with confidence, possibility, and a stronger belief in the future they have worked so hard to reach. In a journey like immigration, information is not just helpful, it is powerful. Things change quickly, dates move, categories shift, rules adjust. If you are not paying attention, you can miss opportunities that you waited years for. That is why staying informed is not optional, it is essential. Every month when the Visa Bulletin is released, it deserves your attention. Not just a quick look, not just a guess, real attention, careful understanding. Because sometimes one small change can mean everything. Staying informed means you do not depend on rumors. You do not rely only on social media comments. You do not panic because someone said something negative. You go to official sources. You read carefully. You compare dates. You understand your category. That clarity protects your peace. It keeps your mind steady. When you know the facts, fear loses its power. But information alone is not enough. You must also stay ready. Immigration is a long road, and when your moment comes, it can come fast. If your priority date becomes current, you may need documents immediately. Medical exams, financial records, police certificates, passport renewals. These things take time. If you are not ready, you may feel stressed. But if you prepare early, you feel confident. You feel in control. Staying ready means organizing your paperwork even when your date is far away. It means keeping copies of everything. It means saving money for fees. It means talking to your employer if needed. It means understanding the next steps before they happen. Preparation turns surprise into opportunity. There is something powerful about being prepared. It changes your mindset. Instead of feeling like you are waiting helplessly, you feel active. You feel engaged in your own process. Even if the line moves slowly, you know you are ready when it is your turn. That readiness builds strength inside you. And then there is hope. Hope is what carries people through long immigration journeys. Without hope, the waiting feels too heavy. But hope is not blind optimism. It is not pretending everything will be perfect. Hope is believing that progress is possible, even when it feels slow. Hope is believing that your sacrifice has meaning. Hope is believing that your effort will one day lead to stability. Staying hopeful does not mean ignoring challenges. There may be retrogression. There may be delays. There may be months where nothing moves. But hope reminds you that the system is still moving overall. It reminds you that many people who once waited are now permanent residents. They once felt the same uncertainty. They once checked the bulletin every month with anxiety, and their day eventually came. When you stay informed, you protect yourself from confusion. When you stay ready, you protect yourself from missed chances. When you stay hopeful, you protect your heart from giving up. These three things together create balance. They create resilience. Immigration is not just paperwork. It is emotional. It tests patience. It tests faith. It tests endurance. Some people feel exhausted after years of waiting. Some feel discouraged when progress is slow. But the truth is, every month that passes brings you closer than you were before. Even if it does not feel dramatic, time is moving forward. Staying informed keeps you connected to reality. Staying ready keeps you prepared for opportunity. Staying hopeful keeps your spirit strong. And when you combine all three, you become powerful in your own journey. You are no longer just someone waiting in line. You are someone actively moving toward a future you believe in. There will be months of excitement. There will be months of patience. But if you stay steady, if you stay focused, if you continue to prepare and believe, you place yourself in the strongest possible position for the day your priority date finally becomes current, and your long-awaited next step becomes real and immediate and life-changing in the most meaningful way.